So recently, the Prime Minister came out and proposed the idea that over the coming years, there will be a digital ID that's mandatory for anyone in the UK, especially anyone that's looking to get a job or looking to rent a home in this country. And with this idea, some people have already started to panic. The chaos has already ensued. People are already believing by doing this, the government can literally maliciously try to hurt you with the information you've presented to them. With this idea, we're heading towards a totalitarian country. It's like chill, okay? We're not that. Relax. Now, my thoughts on this, to be honest, the original plan was that it would be used as a way to deter people coming on the boats. Because if you come on the boats and you require some form of digital ID to work anywhere, then that is supposed to deter you and make sure you don't actually want to come on the boat because you can't work in the first place. So there was almost no benefit for you coming here. But I don't really think that necessarily changes people's behavior or people's decision making if they want to come on the boat or not. I don't really think it addresses it. But digital ID as itself, I don't think it's that much of a bad idea. The government already has your information anyways. If they are going to hurt you and they're gonna do something maliciously, they would do it without needing a digital ID. Authoritarian countries in the past didn't need digital IDs to be authoritarian. The government doesn't need to be rolling out digital IDs to show any malicious intent. They don't. They can just do it if they want to. They have your name, your NI number, where you live, how much money you make. When you file for taxes, they know how much money you make. They get the money before you even receive the money. They have everything on you. If they want to be malicious, they can do it without a digital ID. So relax. It's not going to be a totalitarian country because we have digital ID. That's just my thoughts. But I don't think the original purpose of it being made, I don't think it really solves the problem of people coming on a boat. But that's just my thoughts. But right here, we're about to see a fully blown conspiratorial mind in display. But before we get into it, if you're new around here, it will be massively appreciated if you drop a like on the video. And also, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Let's get right into this.
Patrick's in Gatwick. Patrick, what would you like to say?
Oh, hi, James. Yes. So my problem isn't with immigration at all. I think it's a good thing to have immigration. Every country needs it. But my problem is very much with the digital ID. And the reason is that it is a system that, A, we don't need it. It's going to not address any of the issues of so-called illegal immigration. If, as I think you just alluded to just now, that if anyone's working illegally, they'll be able to carry on working illegally.
Surely it can't be that obvious. I mean, this is where my rare capacity for modesty kicks in and self-doubt. It can't. If it was that flipping obvious, we wouldn't be where we are today, would we?
Well, I think the thing about, as I say, it's really the digital ID issue I'd like to address.
Of course, go on then. Tell me why you've got a problem with it.
Because this is being brought in. It's probably going to be administered by AI for a start. Almost certainly it'd be administered by AI. It's basically going to mean that anyone who doesn't accept a digital ID card will not be able to work. They won't be able to probably rent a house. They won't be able to buy a house. And the thing is, it's open to abuse by not just this government, but future governments, because the framework will be there. The toolkit will be there, basically. And these things will take a time to come in. It won't be brought in straight away. It'll probably, as you said, by the end of the Parliament is probably their target. But they can then add things to it. And we all saw what happened during the COVID lockdowns, how people were being intercepted because they've walked a mile further than the zone that they... Well, you can imagine how easily that system could be used to extend people's...
but if you've got a...
It is so... Oh my God. Relax, okay? The idea that the government is doing this, or potentially in the future, could just be malicious with whatever they want to do in the future. They don't need digital ID to do that, okay? They already have more than enough tools to do that. I don't understand how you can, if you believe that's the case, that one day in the future, then the government will, right, by having this in their hand, they will do something like that, then you probably shouldn't be around that kind of setting in the first place. You probably want to move or leave that country if the government, if you believe the government is that capable of doing something like that. It doesn't seem realistic in any way, shape, or form. The government isn't going to use this in a malicious way to hurt people without going through the legal process. Okay, that's not gonna happen. That fear, you can have those fears in countries. You can have those fears in countries without digital ID. You don't need a digital ID to do that. You don't. You literally, they can just do that right now.
Government that wants to be totalitarian, it will be totalitarian. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter whether it's been introduced for good reasons or not. They're going to do bad things because they want to do bad things. And the COVID stuff was the imposition of laws that were passed in Parliament. It was an entirely democratic exercise. If the ball came round again, I expect people in positions of power would react in exactly the same way, because it was an unknown threat with an unconscionable impact. Well, I don't understand what you're frightened of. You couldn't get.
I'm not frightened of it.
Well, okay, concerned. I don't think what you're concerned about, apart from some sort of theoretical future. I remember when I couldn't get a card in Blockbuster Video unless I could produce a utility bill. We've got CCTV on every street corner in the country. I think we must be one of the most surveilled nations on earth. I can't get on the tube without using a piece of technology that presumably lets TfL know about every journey that I've ever taken. I'm supremely comfortable with all of that. What is it about a digital ID card that is different or worse or changes things?
These kind of people, they're also the ones that would be anti-vaccination, that would be in fear of vaccination. No, vaccination doesn't actually work. It's just a way for the government to try to control us. They're going to insert some chip in your body and then they can track your movement. It's like, bro, calm down, relax, okay? It isn't that way. The vaccination wasn't done to track people's movements, and this digital ID isn't being done so the government can impose some level of unjustified action on you, okay? That's not what it's for. The government isn't going to do that, okay? Because they don't need it, okay? This level of conspiracy theory genuinely is frightening. Genuinely frightening.
Well, it takes it up a level because...
Does it? 400 million Europeans have got one.
Yeah, and that's fine. They want to have them, they can have them. But we've never had a digital ID in this country.
Well, nor did they once. They didn't have one until they got one.
Well, so the fact is, there's 800,000 people at the moment who have already signed a petition against it within about 3 hours.
Oh, mate, you could start a petition tomorrow claiming that the moon is made of cheese and you'd have 1 million signatories by tea time. But to put into words what you're worried about.
Right. Well, this is what I'm worried about, is this.
Something that is going to happen when we have it, not some theoretical future.
Yes, something practical with the process, not in the future, a slippery slope argument. Well, the future, if it was to possibly get bad, no. Say something that is actually going to be part of the function of a digital ID that doesn't require the government turn into bloody Nazi Germany, okay? Say something practical about the process that doesn't require an evil and malicious person behind it. Just say it. Then you can have a good argument, not conspiracy about, well, but if the government was to turn bad, though, relax.
No, because they will add things to it. They've got the.
But that's the theoretical future. You could say that about anything. Oh, I don't like that because it might turn into something that it isn't. Tell me what problem you've got with what it is.
I've got a lot of problem with what it is.
Tell me then.
Well, I'll tell you now if you'd let me actually.
I wish you'd get on with it.
Right. First of all, we've got an ID card that's digital. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to rent if you don't take it. Some people will choose not to take it. And if they choose not to take it, they won't be able to feed their families.
You can also say the same about our NI number. Your NI number brings out your information. Without your NI number, you can't work. So does that mean you don't want an NI number anymore? You need an NI number to show your name, right to work and everything. It displays it whenever it's typed in. Without NI number, you can't work in this country. So does that mean you don't like NI numbers either then? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. That's just a requirement to get a job. Okay. Without it, you can't get a job. Okay, then get it. Big deal.
I know what they can do. I know what they can do if they want to feed their families or rent a place.
What can they do?
They can get the digital ID card and they'll be absolutely fine.
Well,
so tell me why I should be worried.
That's a totalitarian state.
No, it isn't. You can't rent a place at the moment. When's the last time you rented a flat?
Let me give you an analogy. Let me give you a possible.
I don't want an analogy. I don't want a theory. I don't want a possibility. I want a problem.
Right. They then say in the future, right, let's put your vaccination status on.
What didn't you not understand about me saying I don't want to hear about the theoretical future? I want to hear about the policy that has been announced.
The policy it was not part of their
my vaccination status is already on my NHS records.
Well, I've not been vaccinated, for example. So
shock. I said it earlier. Shock. Big shock. Of course you haven't been vaccinated. Of course you haven't. The people that are going to be against the digital ID generally will overlap with the people that are anti-vaccination because they think the vaccination wasn't helpful and it was only done so the government can input some chip in us so they can track every single movement we make. It's so delusional. So I'm not surprised the guy is anti-vaccination. Of course he is. Of course. Just listen to what the guy says.
So I've not been vaccinated, and I'm never going to get vaccinated, and I am never going to take a digital ID card. Simple as that. So, and a lot of people won't take it, and people won't take it.
We won't turn the volume back up in a minute and see if we've actually come up with a realistic problem, except a fear of an unknown and unknowable future. But I've got rather more important things.
These people, they don't really base any real arguments on what's actually happening with the process, okay? They just so conspiratorial that every argument that they have against it is always going to be, or it's always going to require, well, what if they turn bad? What if the government were to turn into bad people and then they could use the digital ID against us? Well, guess what? The government being in power right now, what if they turn bad right now without the digital ID? That would still be catastrophic for everyone. So it doesn't require a digital ID. This is so basic. I don't understand how these people can function like this. It's such a simple equation. You don't require a bad person for the thing to be bad. You don't necessarily require it. Thing can be bad itself in the way it is. Just state why you think it's bad without requiring a bad person there. Then you can make a good argument as to why we shouldn't use digital ID. But that's just my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, it will be massively appreciated if you drop a like, and also if you're new around there, subscribe.